What's up, folks? Steve Harris with Low Class Media. Goertz. Enough said. Before we jump into the video, let's take a moment to thank our sponsors. This video is sponsored by MotorX. Now I know what you're thinking. Steve, I use Rotella and that's good enough for me. Well, if you ride a KTM and you're not using MotorX, you're not using what's in the manual. And if you're not using what's in the manual, your bike's not gonna run that good. And if your bike doesn't run that good, your bike's not gonna last that long. And if your bike doesn't last that long, you're not gonna get to ride that much. And if you don't get to ride that much, you're not gonna have as much fun. And if you're not having as much fun, your life is gonna be bad. And if your life is bad, you're not gonna wanna live. So the moral of the story is, use MotorX. All right, guys, I'm changing the way that I present my race content. My videos are just too long and too boring for most of the time. So I'll no longer be showing big portions of the race, and instead we'll be focusing on things that I'm working on and the lessons that I learned in each race. So I'm gonna say a few things up front here and then we'll jump into the video. So what's been going on? Well, I've been unhappy with the way that I've been riding the dirt bike, and I've been looking all over for answers. So I went out and I took a private coaching lesson with Cody Haverfield from Dirt Lab MX. And I can tell you without a doubt that I know absolutely nothing about riding a dirt bike. I mean, I'm the best rider that I've ever been personally, but I spent 4 hours with Cody from Dirt Lab, and it was amazing how just doing one acceleration and braking drill opened my eyes to major flaws in my game. So Cody, thank you. With that said, however, I was only able to practice these new techniques one time and for a very limited amount of time between the lesson and my race at Goertz. So I had to make a choice. Am I gonna employ some of these new techniques, or am I just gonna ride the race that comes naturally to me and do my best? And given that Goertz is one of the more challenging properties that we ride on the TORCS circuit, I chose the latter. So what actually happened was, I was able to work some of these new techniques into the race, but more importantly, it was a shift in my focus that was the most beneficial for me, and instead of worrying about my competition and where I'm finishing in the race, I simply focused on riding the best race that I can ride on the day. So what were these things that I was specifically focusing on at Goertz? Well, for one, patience. As many of you know who watch my videos, I definitely have issues keeping my cool under pressure. People say I get in my own head, I psych myself out, I doubt myself, etc. And for me, it's not so much about the fear or self-doubt, it's just really more about the fact that when I do poorly, I don't like it. I think as a person, I have a low tolerance for personal imperfection, which yes, I know is stupid. But while riding my motorcycle, I am a hypocrite because I clearly have not been dedicating myself to riding the bike in a proper and an efficient way. So I had to take a step back and remind myself that I really haven't even earned the right to be frustrated. It would be one thing if I was doing everything correct and then still not getting the results that I'm looking for, but largely to date, I've been mostly lazy about riding with proper technique. So let's jump into the video here and talk about some of the things that I've been working on and also some of the lessons that I've learned that I can carry forward into other races. All right, here goes the start.
Sing a song to reduce the nerves. I'm so scared.
All right, so here I am, reluctantly crouched at the starting line. My engine is thumping, it's bumping in time. Just kidding. But yeah, before the races, I always find myself super nervous. You know, I'm anticipating the green flag. I'm worried about starting perfectly. I'm worried about not crashing.
I just want to get a good start. Need a chill on the first lap. Don't be crazy.
So I'm trying to sing to myself to just kind of just cut through all that anxiety.
Keep an eye on those hills.
But it's good that I'm attentive and focusing on these little details, but I think I think sometimes, you know, I'm so worried about executing everything perfectly that I sort of get in my head and basically I'm not thinking so much about just riding, and I'm thinking too much about being perfect. And so that idea intimidates me because I know it's hard to be perfect. And I just kind of forget, you know, what I'm there to do, which ultimately is, you know, I just need to focus on getting a solid start and then working with what I get. So kind of the solution to this is not worrying so much about just getting the perfect start and more just get something solid and work with it. I mean, Goertz has plenty of wide open spaces that I can pass, so I mean, I don't really need to be perfect off the line. So that's what I did.
Something I can work with. All right, man.
Decent. I'm getting kind of swallowed up here. Maybe being a bit conservative, but I think I kind of was rewarded a little bit. Didn't get tangled up with anybody. So one of the things Riley Johnson and I worked on was opening up my lines at the beginning of the race. And I practiced something here, and you'll see it. Watch. There was a little outside cut there.
It worked.
I saw that in practice. I practiced it over and over. And I was sure that it was faster than instead of just going in there and stopping and then making that left-hand turn, just carry wide and around. And it worked out. So now we're behind my buddy Steve Harp here, which I didn't realize it was him at the time, but kind of some more on patience and what I've been working on with that. We have the hill climbs coming up pretty early in the race, and I knew that there were a few lines to choose from, and I was kind of worried about, you know, what line I'm going to choose. But I told myself, you know, there are three options, basically, I gave myself. There's the one that's just straight up all the way to the left.
Down. Remember.
Let's see, what am I saying here? Nothing. There's the straight up option at the far left. There's the kind of straight up option that turns off to the right a little bit and avoids some of those rocks. And then there was a line more to the right, which was...
Not about winning on this lap.
There was a line on the far right, which was a little bit more tame, and when I got here, I saw that they were going that way, so I was like, well, I'll just go up the right line because I don't know if they're going to make it. And actually, this guy didn't at the front. But... Ooh!
God, Steve, go!
Oh, man. So you see this right here. I was actually really surprised I got out of the rut as well as I did. So yeah, I chose that third option because obviously they went up to the left. I was like, I'm not gonna
That's all right.
risk running into them. At the end of the day, it could have been a lot worse. I think I lost a couple spots, but whatever. But Steve spilled out in front of me, and then I thought to myself, okay, what am I going to do? And I was like, well, I'm just going to let him start his bike and continue on. But it became very clear pretty quickly that he wasn't going to be able to do that. So I was able to kind of pick the front end out of that rut, which I was surprised I was able to do that because I mean, I don't work on techniques like that. And yeah, I was able to pick the front end out of that rut, get up on the edge, and then get out of there. But really, kind of the lesson that I carried forward from Czars, where I was just fuming the whole time, was instead of getting mad, it's just like, okay, I call it mistake, plan, execute. Just make the mistake. You can't change what's happened, so figure out what you're going to do and just execute. And so that's what I did, and I didn't rush it. I didn't lose my cool. I just tried to stay
Nice and easy.
calm.
Breathe.
And it may sound dumb to kind of, you know, parse that out in little bitty pieces, but for me, it's like I have trouble controlling my emotions. I mean, obviously, you guys watch my videos, and so it's important that I remain conscious of that fact and do things to try to just keep calm. And so that's what I've developed is mistake, plan, execute, and it worked for me there. So right now, I'm just kind of telling myself, all right, we're in the race. Just, you know, just ride and just try to keep your energy. Don't burn yourself out. But there's another lesson I learned on that, and I'll be talking about that in just a little bit here. But I can hear behind me, there's a guy on a 4-stroke, and he's definitely faster than me. He's bearing down on me. But it's not necessarily that I don't want to let him by. I'm just not sure if I should at this point. This was kind of gnarly, this little descent here. And of course I stall the bike. That little descent with those like 2 step downs, I felt like I never quite memorized exactly how it was, and until the end. And I would always come in there on the brakes, and of course my front end would start washing around on those marbles, and it just never felt good. When I should have just rolled it, just pick my line and just go.
We're just riding, dude. It's just chill. Go!
Just chill, man. Go!
Yo!
Some of this in here was kind of tricky to really know where to go. I thought it was marked fine, but it was just like we were definitely taking new routes through some of this stuff, and it definitely looked like the trail was going one way, but you had to cut it short and go a different direction, like right here. No, it wasn't that one, I don't think. I told myself, too, in practice that I was going to start doing 2 laps. 1 lap to kind of, 1 lap to get warmed up, and then another lap to kind of watch what everybody else is doing. But because this track had so much wide open stuff, I was like, well, you know, I can kind of just make it up there. So I didn't do 2 full laps, but I did go back and practice some of the elements of the trail that I wasn't 100% confident on, like that first set of hill climbs. I hit that far left line several times in practice. Yeah, the 4-stroke is right on me. Yep. Should have known it was gonna happen.
It's all right.
I mean, he's just hooked up. There's no way I can match that pace right now. So, just a better idea that he's by me. It is telling though. I mean, just these guys got away from me so quick. I mean, look at the space they put on me so quickly, and yet. I think I catch the other guy pretty fast. I mean, the guy in the 4-stroke's gone, but it's just I'm missing something for sure on that acceleration phase. I don't really think this was a shift down situation right here. I was rolling. I had pretty good roll speed, and I didn't need really extra acceleration per se. Here though, on this is kind of a weird uphill thing that was a little tricky. I mean, it wasn't hard, but you definitely had to negotiate it and get it done. Here we go. Oh yeah, this was crazy right here. Getting out of this thing. It wasn't really hard, but it was just like it was definitely tricky. It's kind of same sort of deal. But now I know we always talk about this, but fatigue is definitely a factor for me, and I'm setting up a point that's going to come up here later here, but basically I have irritable bowel syndrome, So go look that up if you don't know what it is. Be warned, it's gross. But in any case, I was kind of having symptoms of this medical issue for the 3 days leading up to this race. And I'm pretty sure I entered this race pretty depleted, pretty dehydrated. Even though I'm a big water drinker, you know, I'm trying to eat and make sure I'm, you know, got good nutrition and all that. But I was just losing a lot of nutrients, I think, because of my condition. And so I'm already realizing pretty quickly that I don't feel great at all. And something happens coming up here to kind of let me know that. Or, well, let's put it this way. Before I even started the race, I was already like cramping in my back. Like I could feel cramps up under my arms and my lats. And so I knew something's wrong. I hate this section right here with these like hard pack whoops. I never felt comfortable coming through here. Ever.
Me.
You
My
can hear
hands
my
already
displeasure.
cramping.
So, like I said, I was having cramps in my back, and I was already starting to get cramps in my hands.
You
To... Sorry, buddy. Thanks, Chris. That was Chris Cobain back there. Oh, I was so butthurt. So at this point, I'll just tell you, I got out back into this open section. Let's see if I say it. Hold on. I'm gonna let myself say it on the bike here. Yeah, well, anyways, I'm out right here right now, and what I'm noticing is my pointer finger is like literally locking up on the handlebar. So like I can't extend my pointer finger to grab my front brake. So every time I want to brake, like I'm super late on the brakes, and because this is kind of like hard pack and slick, I can't really like, you know, use more rear brake or to, you know, or like earlier or whatever. I mean, I can, but it's just sketchy because the back end wants to come around. So it definitely felt very unsafe, and I was trying to find out what to do, and what I ended up settling on, it looks like I'm doing it already, yes, is I just started, I do normally ride.
My fucking brake finger is cramping.
Yeah. So I do normally ride like covering the brake, but in the open stuff I hold on with more of my whole hand, and so what I had to do was basically just like straight up. I couldn't just like cover the brake. I had to like literally stretch my pointer finger out and keep it pointed, so that it wouldn't start to like cramp back to the bar like that, and it was working okay, but I was still a little bit sketched out at this time and trying to figure out what my approach was really going to be to continue. I'm kind of catching these guys in the creek though. One note on the cramping hands too. I mean, for sure, nutrition played a huge factor, but also speaking of this lesson that I took with Cody at Dirt Lab, if I was applying more of those techniques and not pulling on the bar so much under acceleration, you know, my hands would probably be way less tired. Yeah, I think I get passed right here, yeah. Good pass. Give the boy credit. But yeah, I'm still kind of sorting things out. Still kind of getting swallowed up by everybody, trying to find out exactly what kind of strength I do have and how hard I'm going to be able to ride. Right now, I mean, I'm definitely like still very far from 100%. But I do eventually make it back to a somewhat decent status to race a little bit harder, more confidently. Got passed by a couple people here. This open stuff is fun, man. Too hot. So I got a couple places back there. That worked out.
Okay.
Oh man. Caught back. This is the guy that passed me earlier, so we caught back up to him. Granted, he had a bobble here that really didn't do him any good.
Go on.
Not really sure if that guy's in my class or not, but I was happy to just get back by somebody. So all in all, I mean, through the open section, again, you know, I'm running pretty slow just because of my physical condition, but you know, I did some work and regained some ground and.
All right, I think my hands are calming down.
And then, yeah, my hands felt a little bit better, but I think I tested it.
No.
Yeah. So I said no, but I mean, I did notice like the cramping. I basically grabbed the bar and then reached back for the brake again to see if my finger was still cramping, and it was, but it wasn't as bad. So I could tell if I just kind of kept moving, things would eventually, you know, get better. Made it up the hill, felt good about that. I don't know if it was just the kind of the hard pack, kind of dry, dusty conditions, but I just kind of never felt locked in from like a chassis standpoint the whole time. All right. So here's this hill, came in a little hot, stalled the bike.
Go on.
Tried to keep it going, watched out on the rocks. Oh my goodness. So went down. Got back on the bike. Wasn't a bad crash, just kind of a little washout. Took a little bit of wind out of my sails, but for the most part, wasn't too bad. Definitely still don't feel 100%. Heavy breathing.
Oh, I see.
And so another thing I want to talk about too is, another lesson I've learned is I've got to have a checklist for all my gear leaving the house, because this is the second time that I brought my camel pack and forgot my lid. Fortunately, Steve Harp, from the beginning of the race, he had a spare pack and I was able to use his, and but his lid wasn't compatible with mine, and so I had to use his camel pack, which was one of those ones that goes in the fanny pack, and I didn't really want to use the fanny pack because I wasn't used to it, so I put it in my backpack, but because of the shape of the actual bladder, I had it in there sideways. And so even though I had like, I don't know, maybe 1.5 liters or 2 liters of water, I'm not really sure, I think it was like 1.5 liters, I was only able to access like half of it. So like I'm already getting low on water here. And considering, you know, the dehydrated state that I entered this race in, I'm really wishing I had more water. So by this point, I've kind of settled in, I think. You know, I've pretty much come to terms with the fact that I'm not 100%, and I gotta just make the most of it here. I hate that ping-ponging back and forth at the entry of a descent. It's so annoying. Someone behind me or no? Okay. Here we go up this hill. Oh, I got here and I was like, uh-oh. I was so happy I made that.
There you go, Steve.
When I saw that guy stop and I felt like I was going for it, I knew it was a potential mistake. I hate that left line, but that dude was down, so had to go around the other way. The second time around, I started taking the straight line through the rocks. It was way better. All right, back to my most hated part of the trail right here. I was getting close to that barbed wire fence, and I thought we were gonna hit, and I was gonna go into that fence. Yes, he also didn't yell different class. Otherwise, I would have immediately moved over a little bit more. That's just another reminder. I mean, look, I'm not trying to tell anybody what to do, but I definitely have people who come up behind me often who are in different class and are faster and don't say it, you know, and I mean, I guess not everybody knows to say it, but not looking too bad through the open stuff here. Trying to avoid taking those like pinched cuts towards the tree, instead trying to make those more sweeping, follow those more sweeping lines, because they're faster even though they're longer. I saw all those people on that creek ridge right there, and I was like crap, those guys are coming after me. I don't know if they were open D or what, but I was like, I'm screwed. I'm feeling way better in this. I mean, look, I'm catching this guy. I mean, this guy absolutely flew by me on that spot, and like I'm literally, I mean, I'm not right on him, but like I've definitely cut the space down between us a little bit. And so I really wonder, like, why am I way more comfortable in that creek? I mean, obviously it has the berms and stuff, and just trying to wonder kind of like what it is about my technique and how I ride that makes me feel better in those berm sections. So definitely feeling a lot better by this point. Starting lap 3 here, I was definitely into a rhythm and just feeling better.
Come on.
Trying to turn it on a little more.
Come on, come on, come on.
Actually
Let's
hitting
go.
the
Get into it. Let's go. Come on. You got your friend back.
Actually hitting the power band a little bit here. All right, so here comes another lesson. I'm not 100%, you know, I'm feeling a lot better, but I'm not 100%, and the hill climbs are coming up. And I know for a fact that there are 3 options, right? And in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm already thinking I'm gonna take the far left line because it's the fastest and I hit it last time and I was fine.
Come on, dude.
If I don't crash here first.
I'm totally pucking out right now. Keep your cool, keep your cool.
There's me trying to calm myself down. But in any case, there's 3 options coming up. I'm already thinking to myself, I'm gonna take the far left option. And it's a risk, but it's a risk that I think I can take in this moment.
Other side, behind it, behind it, behind it.
That's a lesson I learned. We'll talk about that in just a second here. Just losing position after position. I don't know who this kid was. Mad respect for the help. That made it so much easier. I wonder who that is. All right, so yeah, I'm just letting him go by at this point. I'm so exhausted right now. So again, going back to my experience at Czars, I'm so tired. I got to pull over. Going back to my experience at Czars, it's kind of like, why would I do that, right? And so think about this. Like, it's like if I take the less efficient line, I'm losing a couple seconds. I know I'm not going to lose a position because there's no one behind me. And so at this point, I've lost, easily 30 seconds to a minute. I don't know. And so it's like 3 seconds versus 30 seconds, right? So
come on.
How, I need to be more aware of that. Like, why am I not thinking about that in the race, and I'm approaching those hills, and I'm going to take the far left line. It's the fastest. But like, I didn't even think to myself, well, the other line is like not that much slower at all. So, and it's like way easier. So it's like either take the risk or completely eliminate it and lose a couple seconds and then continue on. So maybe that's a new lesson. I can call it, the 3 versus 30 rule. Do I want to lose 3 seconds or do I want to lose 30 seconds? And even now that I'm continuing on, like, I'm still tired right here. So like, yeah, that mistake is behind me. It's water under the bridge, but like, I'm still riding, suffering the physical consequences of that fall. And so this is just more, reinforcement of this idea that I just need to probably take the easier of the options in the case that it's not legitimately that much less time, or that you don't lose that much time. So it's literally a matter of a few seconds, at least the way that I hit it. Another thing briefly here that I did in this crash is, you notice when I picked the bike up, the first thing I did was shift it down. And I learned that lesson at Goertz like last season, but when I went to Czars for the last race, there was times when I was crashed on the hills just like this, and I was in like 3rd gear trying to get my bike up. So I told myself, if I go down on a hill, the first thing I'm gonna do is shift down, and that's what I did here, as you see. But again, major thanks to the young boy who helped me get my bike up. All right, here we go. This is where I crashed earlier. Stall the bike again.
It's fucking stalling on me. Done with this thing. Stalling on me.
Honestly, my bike is having issues in the lower revs. I mean, it's a TPI. I've got 138 hours on the original top end. I know a lot of people are pushing them to 150 hours with no problems at all. But I do think I'm having some issues, because even on the start line,
I'm having issues getting the bike started and then getting it to rev up quickly. It's it's like it doesn't want to rev off the bottom. And so that's also made the starts more challenging. But yeah, as you can see, I stalled on that descent in practice and in the race at least a few times here at this point. Maybe I should just get a new bike. So I think I tracked this guy down a little bit here. Oh yeah. I've got a 4-stroke behind me. And I don't know who it is. But I've tracked this guy down, and now I can tell, like, I'm definitely gonna get around this guy. He's in my class. I mean, he's got a sticker. I'm just kind of trying to find what I'm gonna do, but I can't quite decide. Nice little battle through the creek here. I think I'm simultaneously trying to like hold off the guy behind me, but also trying to figure out what I'm gonna do about this dude in front of me. Big brakes, big brakes, big brakes. Nice. I'm not sure if this guy's behind me anymore, but I really don't want to get past, because I'm not sure if this is the last lap or not. I think it's only lap 3, but I kind of made so many mistakes I wasn't sure if I was going to get 4. All right, so I see the yellow flag's up. It's on now. Lap 4, baby. Nice. Looking pretty good through the open stuff, man. Or feeling better about how I look, I guess. Nice open line there. Got a nice flow going here for sure. Trying to use some of my stand-up braking techniques here. Nice good flow through that. Honestly, it's carrying a lot of speed there for me. This is looking like some lap 1 pace, honestly. Still feel like shit, but I also don't hear the 4-stroke behind me anymore. So again, if I make the mistake once, might as well make it twice, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so I don't know if you can see there, my right hand literally came off the handlebars. That's the 4-stroke, I think, right there. Good Lord. Man. Oh, God. I'm hopeless, man. I'm absolutely hopeless. Last time I stopped before going down this because I thought it was a lot worse than it was, and I was tired. But this time I remember from the last experience that it really wasn't that bad. So even though I'm just like huffing and puffing right now, I'm like, whatever. I'm just gonna try to keep rolling. I'm just trying to do whatever I can to keep rolling here. I'm in pain though. Okay, here we go. Didn't stall it this time. Got on my feet.
There we go, Steve. Well,
Finally, by the 4th lap, I was able to hit that little descent better. And it's just because like, it's like I have the tendency to want to ride the brakes in those situations, and with those marbles, like it's very easy to lock up and then just start sliding, which makes you grab even more brakes, and then it just compounds the problem until you wash out like I did on, lap 2. So I need to stop doing that. All right, so it's lap 4. This guy here, I've caught him again. He's in my class, and basically my goal is to pass this guy to try to pick up a last lap pass and one more position before the end of the race. And I know I have a lot of lap left. One of my major goals is to become more of a patient rider. And so
let it roll, come on.
I'm not trying to force anything. I mean, he's right there, but I don't need to just like run up right on him. Especially now, I mean, like, there's not a lot of passing opportunity in this stuff, whereas we're coming up on all the open stuff, and might as well just wait for that. I mean, I've clearly got pace on him because I've caught him twice after, a couple crashes with some big delays, and really physically tired me out. But so I'm kind of just taking my time. I'm just telling myself, okay, I'll catch him when I catch him, and then we'll get by him. So we're getting closer here. I'm trying to make sure that when we go through that last creek and get into the open stuff, that I'm right near him. Chris is like, get him. I'm like, oh, I know, son. I know I got him here for sure. Oh, he peeked at me.
Patient, 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 patient. Patient, patient, patient.
I didn't like the idea of getting him right here. I don't know if he let me go by, but we got him. So I'm thinking, okay, I got that guy. Maybe there's someone else, right? Maybe there's someone else right ahead. So I know at this point, the race is definitely over. This is the last lap. So I get in this creek, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to try to turn it on a little bit. See if there's anybody else up here that maybe I can get by and pick up one more spot. Just trying to be smooth on the throttle. Lots of speed coming out of there, man. Most speed I've had all day. There we go. Little gas. All right. There it is, folks. Goertz. Over. Nice big sigh of relief.
That was tiring. I'm all right.
All right, folks, that's the race. Really hope you enjoyed the new video format. Really trying to, condense these videos down, make them a little bit more watchable, so you don't have to spend, 2 hours or so, breaking up your day to watch my content. So definitely appreciate all the people who watch my videos, everybody who subscribes. Kind of want to do a quick little PSA at the end here, a little public service announcement. I'm not sure if you saw in the video, but there's a couple times where there were spectators who were riding around on their bikes, trying to get out on the trail and watch the racing. And obviously we love that. I love having people out there cheering us on, and really, encouraging us to continue fighting and do as well as we can on our races. But there's a couple times where I saw people who were pretty close to the trail, and it didn't really bother me per se in the race, but just kind of going back and watching my video, I noticed that had I made some other choices on my lines, I might have ended up running into some of these people. So just a note to all the spectators, when you're out there watching the races, love having you out there, but just make sure you got your head on a swivel, you're not standing on a racing line, and sometimes, what looks like the trail, there might be little inside cuts or outside cuts and different things where bikes might be coming that you're not expecting. So just kind of wanted to put that out there. I'm not trying to tell anybody what to do, but I just want to, avoid any chance of having a collision and having someone get hurt, especially a spectator who's not wearing, protective clothing and all that stuff. So, but yep, those are some of the lessons I've learned. One thing I'm gonna be working on and trying to remember for the next race is you don't always have to take the fastest line. The 3 seconds versus 30 seconds rule. Do I want to lose 3 seconds, or do I want to lose 30 seconds messing up a line that might be a little bit more challenging, especially when I'm not physically 100% there. Another thing I'm going to be pulling forward with me to the next race is making sure my nutrition before the race, and I'm talking the week before, all the way 7 days before, I start making sure I'm eating home-cooked meals, I'm drinking enough water, and I'm not just eating trash, because I really showed up to this race after eating something that did not agree with me, and I think I was just super depleted, and that really affected my performance here, which is disappointing because I love Goertz and I always want to ride well there. But I think the next race is in North Austin, Lomeda, I'm not really sure how to say it. I've also heard rumors that it might be at a different property, so maybe keep an eye on the schedule and see what happens there. But in any case, wherever the race is, I'm going to be ready to go, and I hope to see you guys there.